What's going on, adventurers? Hope everyone is enjoying the summer in North America and have had the opportunity to touch multiple blades of grass. To be honest, I wasn't going to be making this video, but I figured I'd use this to kind of get the video making and editing rust off. So, here are my predictions for Season 10, which we anticipate to be New World's next expansion. Now, as a disclaimer, this is all speculation based on past dev behavior, public knowledge, some stuff on Reddit, and based on what we've seen before. This has kind of become a tradition for me, as I made some pretty bold predictions about the release of Eternum, and it turned out to be pretty accurate. All of this is theory, but it's smart theory. So let's talk expansion date, new zones, the progression changes, any new systems I think might be implemented, and how I think you can start preparing today. Alright, so let's start with the obvious one. When will this expansion drop? My money's going to be on Tuesday, October 7th, likely around 8 a.m. Pacific. This follows the studio's usual release cadence, and it lines up with the internal seasonal cues. Most notably, the change that they made to the end of Season 9 from the end of October to October 6th. I'm guessing that this will probably be a paid expansion, priced around $40 US. The New World Eternum release was a free expansion, similar to Brimstone, and therefore it would make sense that they would follow it up with a paid expansion, especially considering some of the content that is rumored to be in there. So what kind of content are we talking about for this new expansion? Well, we're going to be talking about the first actual new zone since Brimstone Sands released in 2022. We're likely going to be heading south of Brimstone. The most likely names that have been floating around are Dunwood or Night Vale. Night Vale has also come up, but I'm pretty sure that that's just a little too close to the Halloween event that New World hosts every year. I'm expecting a biome with some unique gatherable resources and some new visual themes. I'm thinking eerie forests, gothic architecture, cemeteries. Definitely a change from the sandstone deserts. I'm expecting werewolves, and I'm expecting vampires to be leading the charge in this new zone. Alright, so let's talk about some other changes, namely the change to progression. Things are about to get scaled up. Here's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting the level cap of your character to be raised to 70. I'm expecting trade skills to be raised to 300. I'm expecting gear score increase to 800. I'm also expecting attribute caps that are currently at 500 to go up to 600. And I'm expecting a new attribute milestone at 400. Now, I'm going to be honest, some of this may not hit on day one, most notably the new attribute milestone. And I would expect to see that rolled out probably by Season 11. Another possible drop for Season 11 is going to be a new weapon. Now, I'll be honest, as much as I would love to see this in Season 10, it's very possible that we're not going to see it until Season 11. And what is it? I'm thinking dual-wield daggers. My second best guess would be dual-wield pistols. I would expect it to be dual-wielded. I expect it to be classified as a two-handed weapon in terms of mechanics. It's going to be fluid, it's going to be mobile, and it's going to lend to fast-paced combat. All right, let's talk about some changes to some systems, what I think is going to increase in value, what I think is going to be devalued, and what I think is going to be introduced, especially when it comes to gear. First, I think we're probably going to be getting a new region-specific currency for the new zone, similar to doubloons. I think that this is going to be the top tier currency and will probably be worth more than gold. I believe Umbral Shards 2.0 will be rolled out with Season 10. I believe in that rollout, we're going to be seeing dark matter lose value. Gorgonite gear will stay capped at 725 gear score. I believe the hoplite gear I believe that will be upgradable to 800 gear score via the new system. Artifacts, I also believe will be upgradable to 800 gear score via the new system. Basically, anything that's bind on pickup, you'll be able to upgrade, whereas anything on the trading post will end up being maxed at 725 gear score. This will ultimately devalue gold. It's important to understand that this is happening for a couple of reasons. First, the devs want to reward gameplay. Second, and this is going to be a very unpopular opinion, I believe that all servers will be categorized as standard. Right now, you have the standard servers and you have legacy servers. I believe they will all be made standard so you can transfer any character anywhere. I believe the concerns regarding legacy economy being greater than the standard or the quote-unquote fresh start servers, I believe that the economies are pretty much all equalized. I believe the devs are seeing the exact same thing. I believe there is far less concern about duplicated gold from those very early days. I believe that this is going to be a move that they make in order to condense population and reduce the number of servers that are active. And with that 800 gear score, I have bad news for crafters. I don't believe that they will allow crafting to 800 gear score at launch. I believe 800 gear score crafting we probably won't see until Season 11 or even Season 12. The trading post max gear score available will be 725. I think if you're a crafter, yeah, this is going to be painful for you. I believe that the economy will rotate around consumables, and I do believe that there will also be a focus on the mods for perks, because I do believe Umbral version 2.0 will not just affect gear score, but I believe that they are going to introduce a system for gear score as well as for perks. I do believe that the matrices, the weapon, the armor, and the jewelry matrix will remain, and I think that those will probably be the most valuable consumable that crafters can make. Alright, so let's talk about some endgame content and the rewards. I do expect that in addition to an MSQ expansion, I'm expecting a new raid. I'm expecting the new raid to drop 800 gear score. I'm thinking the MSQ will get you gear probably up to 775, maybe 790. I'm believing that the regular Gorgon raid that exists today, that the gear will max out at 725 gear score. The same with Worm. I do believe that a mutated Gorgon is going to be introduced, and I believe that that will drop 800 gear score. I also believe that the new procedurally generated dungeon mode will also be dropping 800 gear score rewards. And as far as the crates, I'm thinking probably at minimum 725. Maybe the crates will start dropping 775 up to 775 gear score. At least originally. Probably towards the later season, season 11, season 12, they will up the gear score level in the crates to like maybe max will be 790. Now, I'm also going to be honest about what they've discussed. They've talked about Reekwater being revamped and reworked. There's not a lot of detail. I'm thinking that it's going to be very similar to Cutlass Keys. And honestly, the Cutlass Keys rework with Eternum, when Eternum dropped, was actually, honestly, a huge, great surprise. The rework that they did on Cutlass Keys was really amazing. That is where they introduced the doubloon currency, and I do expect a new currency, but I do expect that to be in the new zone. It is possible they'll possibly also do another currency in Reekwater. But honestly, I mean, at that point, we're just going to be having too many currencies, in my opinion. So I do think Reekwater is going to have some sort of rework, but honestly, there's not a lot of information out there, and I'm really not sure how they plan on reworking it to fit in with the vampires and werewolves that we expect in the new zone. I do expect a new zone. I do expect the first expansion in land since 2022 to the map of Eternum. Mainly because this is going to be a paid expansion. The last paid expansion wasn't an expansion of land. It was First Light that was reworked into Elysian Wilds. They took a lot of criticism for that. I don't think that they're going to make their same mistake twice. So now, if you are playing New World Eternum right now, what can you do to prepare? Especially since, honestly, there's been no real announcement. First thing is, especially if you're doing your dailies, make sure that you're getting your gypsum. Get your 5 orbs daily from the well over in Cutlass. Make sure to run your faction missions. Get those orbs. Make sure you're getting your emeralds and your diamonds. The events going on right now, just go collect 3 baskets. You'll get 6 diamonds. We changed into gypsum orbs. Stock your gypsum orbs. I would also start stacking 5.5 mats. I'm talking about your spin fiber, your mithril, your rune wood, your dark hide leather. Okay, I don't think prismatics are going to be a huge requirement in the new season. I'm personally aiming for 100 prismatics and 1,000 of the tier 5.5 mats just to stockpile for leveling up. Always make sure that you're going out and getting your weekly coconut, because until the announcement, we're not going to know what new thing is going to be announced that will help upgrade your gear. Right now, best bet is still on that coconut. And build your gold reserves. But that doesn't mean don't spend money at the TP and don't overcommit. As I previously mentioned, I believe gold will be taking a back seat, and that ultimately gold at the TP will be devalued. All right, guys, so that's the basic breakdown of my thoughts on what's coming. I'm expecting the announcement to be made, honestly, September 2nd sometime. I'm also, I would imagine it has to be made, if not September 2nd, during the first week. I don't see them going more than a month without announcing and revealing it, as I think that that becomes problematic, especially for those of us who need to put in for PTO for time off. Again, none of this is confirmed. This is just based off of patterns, logic, some videos, some context. But hey, look, if I'm right, we've got a very busy fall ahead in Eternum. So drop a like if you're prepping, sub if you want updates when other official details drop, and let me know your own predictions in the comments. Remember, good luck, have fun, kill 'em all.